So in a previous lesson where I showed you how to tune the bass, you learned the names of the notes of each string. Now in this lesson, we're going to learn the names of the notes for every fret on the entire bass neck. Now don't worry, it's not going to be that confusing. They repeat all over the place, and the bass neck is very symmetrical, so the patterns repeat in the same way all the way up and down the neck. So let's start at the bottom. And by the bottom, I mean the lowest note. So this is an E. This is the open string E. Now, what we know from tuning the bass is that if we go up 5 frets and we fret there, we are making the same note as the next open string. So when I fret here and I play those two strings together, they're the same pitch. And we know that this string is an A string. So this must be an A note on the E string. Okay, so that's just the very beginning. So between the E open string and the A note, there's 4 other frets, and they're going to have different note names. So let's just take a look at it. Now we have a chart that you can refer to see this all laid out on the bass neck to help you memorize it later, but I'll just walk you through it. So the first fret is an F. We go up the alphabet using A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We use those letters over and over again. So the open string's E. The first fret is an F. Now, the next fret is going to have 2 different notes because it's halfway in between an F and a G. And this is something you're just going to have to get used to, the way the musical scale works. There's no notes between an E and an F. They're right next to each other. But between an F and a G, there's this middle note. And it can be called either an F sharp or it can be called a G flat. Whenever a note is referred to as a sharp note, it means it's 1 fret up from the regular note. So if this is a regular F or an F natural, if we go up 1 fret, that's an F sharp. If we start at a G natural and go down 1 fret, that's a G flat. Okay. Now, moving along from there, we have 1 more fret left between the G and the A. And the same thing applies here. So if we start from G, this is G natural, go up 1 step, that's going to be a G sharp. If you start at A natural, and go down 1 fret, that's an A flat. Now, in musical terms, each fret on the bass is called a half step. Okay, I know that sounds a little confusing, but suffice to say that every fret on the instrument is a half step difference from the note next to it. If we go 2 frets, like a G to an A, that's called a whole step. Now, it seems it's kind of confusing because, okay, between the open E and the F, it's only a half step difference. But one's called an E and one's called an F. It's just the way it is in the musical scale. Okay, so let's continue on. If we go to the A string, we're just going to work on this part of the neck right now. If we go to the A string, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 frets between the A and the D. D is the open string here. The 5th fret fretted on the A string is the same, so those have to be Ds. They're both the same. So if we start from an A and go up a step, this can be called an A sharp because it's a half step up from an A. Or if we start from the next note, which is a B, and go down, it's a B flat. So you can call it an A sharp or a B flat. Okay. Then if we go up another half step, that's a natural B. Okay. And now we come to another one of those weird relationships in the scale, the B to the C. The B to the C is always just 1 half step. There's no B sharp and there's no C flat. There's just B and C. It's the same thing with E and F. There's no E sharp, there's no F flat, there's just E and F. So the 3rd fret on the A string is a C. Then if we go up 1 more half step, and we start from a C natural and go up a half step, that's going to be a C sharp. And of course, this is our D again. And if we go down a step from a D, it's a D flat. Okay, so I want to review those 2 strings again so you get the idea. We got an E, the open E. Then we got a half step up to an F because that's one of those strange relationships, E to an F. Then we got F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, and then A, which is the same as the open string there, same note. And we got A to a A sharp or a B flat, then a B natural. Then we have the other string relationship between the B and the C. It's just 1/2 step. There's no B sharp or C flat, just B to C. Then we have a C sharp or a D flat, same note, and then D. So now you have the two strange relationships, the E to the F and the B to the C. And those are the same all over. All these relationships remain the same all over the rest of the bass. We just continue on using the same logic. And again, you look at your chart and you can see how this all goes together. So let's continue on from the D. So we have the open D. If we go up a step, or I'm sorry, a 1/2 step from the D, we get a D sharp or an E flat. And then we go a 1/2 step up from there, and that's an E natural. Now, once again, here's the strange relationship, E to an F. They're right next to each other. So this is an F natural. If we go up 1/2 step from the F, it's an F sharp or a G flat. And then 1/2 step up again. And here we are at the 5th fret. That's a G, and that's the same as the open string. G and G. Let's continue on. G to a G sharp or an A flat. Then we have an A natural. Also, notice that's the same, the octave. Remember that in the octave lesson we showed you where the octaves were. So the low open A is the same as this fretted A on the G string. Then we go up 1/2 step from there. We get a A sharp or a B flat. Then we have the B natural. And then we have the last strange relationship, B to a C. And that gets us up to the 5th fret on the G string. Now, in the next lesson, we'll continue this relationship up the neck all the way up ad nauseum, so you can get an idea for the entire bass neck. And we'll show some easy ways of finding your way around to these notes. But right now, what I want you to do is memorize this. And however you can memorize it, just practice it over and over again, saying the names of the notes and playing through all the frets, all the first 5 frets on all the strings, and memorize it. This way it'll be easy. When somebody tells you they're playing a song in C, you go, oh, we're in C, and you know right where to go, and you don't have to think about it. So, till next time.